Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something really powerful. We're exploring insights from the H7O Ministry's daily devotional, specifically one called Serving for Church Growth and Unity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a source that, well, it consistently brings these incredible truths. And today, our mission really is to unpack how practical service, spiritual growth, and unity, how they're all intertwined. Foundational pillars, you could say.
That's a great way to put it. And what I find really compelling about this devotional is the fresh perspective it offers on what real growth looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pushes us beyond, just what's visible, maybe what's happening on a stage, and helps us appreciate the essential stuff, the often unseen work that holds everything together. It's about seeing beneath the surface.
Okay, so let's dive right in then. The devotional starts us off back in the early church, Acts chapter 6, painting this picture of, well, really rapid growth.
Right.
And growth sounds great, doesn't it? A good problem to have. But the devotional points out, and it's so true, even good growth can bring these significant tensions internally.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it talks about murmurings, this sort of growing discontent, specifically about the Hellenist widows feeling overlooked in the daily food distribution.
And it's striking, isn't it? Because the devotional doesn't just call this a logistical snag or, a small organizational issue.
No.
It actually calls it an attack on the unity of the church. An attack. That phrasing really jumps out.
It does.
It wasn't just about managing food better. It was fundamentally about protecting the community's very fabric. And this really highlights the devotional's core message, that service is a spiritual field.
A spiritual field,
Yeah.
not just practical.
Exactly. It's about the heart, the spirit behind what's being done, not just the action itself.
And the response from the apostles, which the devotional really eliminates, was, well, quite brilliant, wasn't it? And deeply spiritual.
Absolutely.
They saw they couldn't do everything. They didn't just stretch themselves thinner and thinner.
No.
Instead, they made this really profound decision. They strategically chose 7 men of good standing, full of the spirit and wisdom. That part's key.
Full of the spirit and wisdom.
Yeah, to handle these practical but absolutely vital tasks. And this allowed the apostles then to, as they put it, devote ourselves to prayer and the ministry of the word.
It was discernment in action.
Yes, spiritual leadership,
Yeah.
making sure no one was left behind, tackling both the immediate need and the spiritual health. It wasn't about avoiding work, but about focused spirit-led delegation.
Which brings us beautifully to a foundational principle the devotional explores. It's really insightful. It says healthy, sustainable growth only happens when the altar, prayer and the word, and the table, symbolizing service and communion, truly go hand in hand. It's such a rich metaphor for balance, isn't it?
It really is.
Yes.
You neglect one, the other definitely suffers.
Right.
And here's where, for me, it gets really interesting, really challenging to maybe our usual ways of thinking. The devotional emphasizes this almost revolutionary idea. Practical service is as spiritual as the ministry of the word.
That hits home, doesn't it?
It really does. When you sit with that,
Wow.
think about it.
Yeah.
The deacons chosen, the ones serving tables, they needed to be filled with the Spirit.
A non-negotiable qualification.
Exactly. Not just helpful, but required. This just powerfully shows that serving tables is as noble and just as spiritually important as preaching.
Yeah.
It lifts up every single act of service, no matter how, behind the scenes it might seem. The power isn't just at the pulpit.
Indeed. And if you connect that dot, it underscores this profound truth. Ministry isn't only sustained from the pulpit or visible platform.
Right.
It's also sustained, maybe even mostly, through the invisible, humble, and essential service of those who care for the practical needs of God's people.
Invisible, humble, and essential. I like that.
It really invites us to ask ourselves, do we value all service with the same spiritual reverence? Or do we maybe unconsciously put more weight on what's visible? This devotional really makes you reevaluate what counts as spiritual work.
That's a crucial question, definitely one for all of us to honestly think about. So this devotional, it lays out these 3 core principles for reflection, drawn right from Acts 6, but reaching into our lives today.
Okay.
First, growth brings challenges that require spiritual organization.
Yeah.
It's not just about logistics, like needing more chairs. The problem in Acts 6 wasn't just about food distribution.
No, it was deeper.
Right? It was the unity of the church that was threatened.
Yeah.
So our response to growth challenges, even the practical ones, it needs to be rooted in spiritual wisdom, not just efficiency. You can't just throw resources at spiritual problems, right? You need spiritual solutions.
That makes perfect sense. And it leads straight into the second principle, which is maybe one of the most paradigm shifting. Practical service is as spiritual as the ministry of the word.
That one, again, it's huge.
It is. It reinforces the dignity, the spiritual weight of every single act of service. I mean, knowing the deacons chosen needed to be full of the spirit and wisdom, it tells you these aren't secondary roles.
Not at all.
They're primary, essential, filled with divine purpose. It just challenges any idea that some tasks are more spiritual or some people are more spiritual because of visible roles. It means, like you said, scrubbing a floor for God's glory can be as holy as preaching.
Absolutely. It redraws the map of ministry, really. And the third principle flows from this. Delegating wisely maintains focus and expands reach.
Yes.
By empowering others to serve in their own ways, leaders aren't just, getting rid of tasks. They're helping the whole body function better.
It activates gifts.
Exactly. It lets leaders focus on their specific callings like prayer and the word for the apostles, but it also activates and dignifies the gifts across the whole community. This leads to the entire body thriving, creating this synergy, this shared purpose. Imagine the power when everyone feels their contribution, however hidden, is valued as deeply spiritual.
It's really more than just good management advice. It feels like a spiritual blueprint. And when we grasp this, it changes how we approach everyday service. The devotional encourages us to revere simple service.
Simple serve.
And to serve in the unseen with the same zeal as those who preach, which, raises a tough question for each of us. Are we willing to serve where we're needed, even if nobody sees it, even without applause?
Oof. Yeah, that's a challenge to our pride, isn't it? It reminds us that God honors the humble heart. We often look for that nod from others, but true spiritual value is so often in those quiet, consistent acts only God sees. It's not just a nice thought. It's a call to cultivate a different kind of heart, one reflecting Christ's example.
It is. And the devotional encourages prayer here too, prayer for wisdom and spiritual empowerment to serve. It reminds us the Holy Spirit wants to fill those willing to care for others.
It's not just about trying harder.
No, it's about divine enablement. And what's fascinating is how this kind of service directly builds unity. The devotional states where there is service with love, murmuring and division lose ground.
That makes so much sense.
When people are actively caring for each other, meeting needs with humility and generosity, that fertile ground for discontent just dries up. It's a powerful antidote to disunity.
And it takes us right to the heart of Christ, doesn't it? He embodied this perfectly. The devotional powerfully brings up Mark 10:45, Jesus saying, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve."
The ultimate example.
Right. It flips worldly power on its head. And then there's Philippians 2, talking about Christ emptying himself, taking the form of a servant. It's not just history, it's our model.
And you can weave in other scriptures too, like 1 Peter 4:10, urging us to serve one another, each with whatever gift he has received.
Use your gift.
Or Ephesians 4:1, showing how the body grows as each part does its work. It's not just isolated verses. They paint this picture of a thriving, interconnected community. Every single part, every person brings something essential. Your gifts aren't just for you, they're for everyone. This devotional really helps connect those threads.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to actually pose some of the questions to ponder from the devotional directly to you listening in, because they really invite some personal reflection. We've covered a lot, but what stands out for you? Have you truly valued practical service in the church as a spiritual ministry? Or maybe have you seen it as, well, less significant than other things?
Right.
And are you willing to serve where we're needed, even if it's unseen, without fanfare? And maybe, how can you personally support the church in keeping that vital balance between the altar spiritual disciplines and the table practical service? Just things to mull over.
And perhaps we can conclude with this really profound statement from the devotional, a thought I think will stick with you. The growth of the church does not depend on a full stage, but on spirit-filled servants, willing to work in the unseen for the glory of God. The kingdom advances when prayer sustains the pulpit and service tends the tables with the same fear and reverence.
Wow. Just incredibly powerful and deeply challenging insights we've gained today from this deep dive into the H7O Ministries devotional. It really calls us to a deeper, humbler, and, well, profoundly spiritual way of serving in every part of life. We are so grateful to you, the H7O community, for engaging with this material with us. If you want to learn more about the H7O ministry or perhaps support their work, please do visit h7o.life. See you tomorrow.